Hello everybody. Well, here's what my garage looks like still. I still have quite a lot of toys to go through. I got my Star Wars. There's Pee-wee's Playhouse. I got to bring that in yet. I brought the double books out. I got Pathways now. At least before I actually had nowhere to. And I managed to, like, when I was going through it, stack all the boxes that are considered sports figures over there. And like, here's all my baseball cards, which I still have to get all that stuff. And there's my lovely wife looking at me like, you got issues. My magazine rack I have. I actually got to call up and get. I actually got to bring this in the house and call up and get it and get the pane of glass fixed on it. There's my Spider-Man helicopter back there. I don't know if you can see it, but and more tin cans. I got to get those boxes out because they got toys and they got to be brought downstairs. So
my husband has issues.
He
talks to himself in the garage. And don't put me on there. Get off, or I'll smash it.
Okay, we're going to own the house now. Hello, everybody. This video is going to be long. I'll just tell you right off the bat. I actually have a checklist because I started doing a video last night, and actually I only got like not even 3 hours sleep. What ended up happening is we ended up having a thunderstorm, and during the making of the video and with my flick, the power went out and ruined it. And when I put it on YouTube, I didn't know it ruined it during the making, you know, the process of making it. I went to put it on YouTube, the last like 5-6 minutes was cut off, and a lot of my points were garbled, so I actually should have done what Rick / Loki Goblin 13 did, is make a checklist of what topics I want to hit on. First off, you guys always hear about me talk about my comic collector. You know, about me putting in... For the longest time, I had a pirated copy, and I never did nothing, you know. I stuck 3,000 and stopped, so I ended up deciding not to be a cheap bastard anymore. I sprung for it. I went to collectors.com and bought the hard copy. I also bought, since I have a major video game collection, I bought the game collector and the movie collector. Now, I even sprung for their little barcode scanner thing. Right? The barcode scanner works great on DVDs and video games, but not so good on the comic books, since most comic books from the Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age don't have barcodes. Even a lot of the newer, you know, books are missing barcodes, so you're always ending up putting them in manually anyway. I did get some new pickups. I went to 5 and Below, so Gary, Mongo Stomp Prime, Rick, if you guys have, you know, Curse Man, you guys all have 5 and Belows. I'll show you what I picked up at 5 and Below. They sell 4 comic books in a 4-pack for $4. So I picked up X-Men 283, Giant Size X-Men 3, X-Men Adventures number 4, Wolverine 53, Ultimate Spider-Man 63, Spider-Woman issue 1, The Amazing Spider-Man Double Trouble issue 2, Shadow of the Bat number 44, Shadow Man issue 30, Punisher issue 69, Kazar number 1, and yes, you see right, first printing Flash number 1. See, now this goes to my point that I tried to make in an earlier video. These were sold out at most comic book stores. If you went online, you were paying double the cover price for this book. Why is it then, is it in a distribution wholesale lot from a comic liquidator for $1? I ain't complaining, I got it for $1. But, you know, it goes to my point, when the stores get them, like, you know, the magazine shops, they don't sell them. It goes to a liquidation place, or they go to comic, you know, or they go to wholesalers, or they go to warehouses. So, you know, I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop on the big, Walking Dead stuff. Deathlock Special number 4, Deathlock number 7, Darkhawk number 11, Cage number 2, and Adventure Comics 523. I also decided this video is going to be like a massive, thing between trades. And in that lot between the dollar store and Family Dollar, because Family Dollar had 2 comic books for $1 in a pack. And that I got Marvel Comics Presents a Double 84. Warlock and the Infinity Watch number 3. Exo Man of War. These are doubles that I have for trade. Exo Man of War number 15, which I think I got 3 copies of that now. Punisher 2099 number 19. Classic X-Men 25. The Second Life of Dr. Mirage number 1. Warlord number 55. Marvel Comics Presents number 107. Alpha Flight number 4. And Alpha Flight number 18. Now, I bought a lot of X-Men comics on eBay, and these are the doubles that I got out of that lot. X-Men 444, X-Men 331, X-Men 322, 319, 2 copies of 314, 308, 300, they're out of sorts, 188, 195, 196, 281, and 282. Also, I got a double of Ecstatic number 15 and Firestorm number 21. I've been doing my toy log, and I got doubles of some of my toys. I'm just going to do it this way. My daughter's favorite, one of her favorite movies, Norbit. How you doing? But Matisse Stokar's card number 25, Peter Parker's Pontiac REV. Card number 21 out of 25, Spider-Man, the Buick LaCrosse. Series 1, card number 5, Storm's Chrysler Atlantic. Card number 7, Rogue, Chrysler Prowler. Electra, card number 14, what is that? Honda S2000. Card number 9, Captain America Chevy Corvette. Spider-Man number 23, Open Wheel Racer Formula 1 race car. Issue number 22, Spider-Man Chevrolet SSR. Go through this stuff now. I ended up getting a double set of the Gunner Station. I bought them, and I guess I forgot I bought them, and I bought them again. Episode 1, Mace Windu. Shadows of the Empire, Princess Leia's Bosch. JLA the Huntress. Aquaman Total Justice. Dragon Ball Z Gohan from Series 2. Now, that does the trades. Now, I watch everybody's videos, and usually I comment, but I like to comment on them, like make my own videos on response to a lot of stuff. Like Hitman Von Doom had on his video about how DC tries to ruin their continuum, Crisis, how they destroyed, the history of the DC, and they keep trying to rectify it. They're never going to rectify it. Once they did the Crisis on Infinite Earths, they screwed themselves. When they changed the history of some of the things, they could have kept everything. Crisis on Infinite means the possibility is infinite. When they tried to make everything one Earth, it was a joke. Theoretically, I could be a blonde with big boobs, perfect 10 on another thing. It could happen, but not on this plane. You know, they should have kept it. Earth Prime was our Earth. Earth 1 was the Golden Age. Earth 2 was the Silver Age. They should have made Earth 3 the Bronze Age. And when they relaunched the 52, they should have launched it over from nothing. They picked and chose what they wanted to start. Like, then they started just, even if it's a great read, it's a great story. All the other Superman issues don't exist, or because, you know, Superman married Lois Lane. Now he's got an affair with Wonder Woman. I got a kick out of Rick Loki Goblin, your clip from, what was it, Mallrats or whatever, when they were talking about Superman banging Wonder Woman. You know, he'd have to wear a kryptonite condom to do Lois Lane, where, you know, Wonder Woman's uterus. Well, she's an Amazon, but she's still not totally super. So, you know, he'd have to actually inbreed. He'd actually have to go with the Silver Age Supergirl, you know, in order to breed. Okay, you know, that's just the way it is. He actually could shrink himself down. The miniature guys go in the bottled city of Kandor and pick a Kryptonian mate that way. But back to the Continuum issues. They just, I think every comic book by the mid-90s shafted themselves when it came to Continuum storylines, because they started beating dead horses. It was good when Spider-Man had Venom. But then they brought Carnage. Then they did all the separation anxiety. Then they did maximum clonage. They started beating a dead horse. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Green Lantern. They had the good old, you know, willpower ring. They had Sinestro, which I always thought Sinestro was, they did like the yin yang. The green and the yellow. There was the, you know, the yin yang theory. Well, no, they decided they're going to do will, love. Like, I can understand willpower, because when you're like dead tired, you get the will, you can still manage to do stuff. Hope don't get you out of the gutter. Will does. Love don't get you out of the gutter. In fact, love, if somebody doesn't love you back, that leads into depression sometimes. You know, these emotions, what they did, I think it's pathetic. All it was is to build more shirts, you know, make more figures, you know, sell more stuff to the public. The whole Jason Todd, Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne, when they had the Batgirl sidekick where she donned the Robin uniform, and who am I missing on the Robins? I always forgetting the one Robin, who ends up becoming Red Robin, but too many Robins. You know, if you're gonna redo the Continuum, like, yeah, Hitman, I agree with you totally. It's like, they should have restarted everything from scratch. Now, I don't know who Damian Wayne is, because I never read the Batman and Robin when they had the Damian Wayne. I don't know who's his mother. Is a Catwoman? I have no clue, because the old days, I think Batman did reform Catwoman and marry her, if I remember right, because they changed the history so much. I just wish they would stick to something like, okay, the original, you know, Golden Age Hawkman, they were archaeologists that built flying suits, flying wings. Then in the Silver Age, they were from the planet Thangar. Now, when they relaunched the Savage Hawkman, the nth metal in the thing bonded to him. Now, I wish they would just relaunched Hawkman and made, you know, that he had the wings, and when he burned them in metal, they just started over. Now, I don't know if he's the archaeologist one, or is, well, I know he's an archaeologist, because they always, that was their demon thing on Earth, they were archaeologists, but the Continuum issues are far, like, I don't understand the whole thing with Nick Fury. I like the Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury, but I just don't understand why, if you're going to do stuff based on history, there was no, back in World War II, armies were segregated. If you're going to do stuff, do it like how DC did it, like when they did the Golden Age stories, like if you read All-Star Squadron, they were stories that took place on a parallel Earth that was like stuck in the 40s. So technically, you know, they changed the timeline, but it was a separate Earth. It wasn't really our history. They sort of changed history a bit. They made Hitler have these superpowered villains that helped the Nazis. Now, on a standpoint from Marvel, we're like the Watchers. You know, we live on Earth Prime and we read about all this stuff. Marvel likes to do this stuff and then okay, the what if, like I said, what if Spider-Man's clone had lived, and then they made that storyline and they ended up doing the maximum clonage, and it just, by then I was totally done with Spider-Man because I thought they were just going over the top. I want to congrats Mongo Stomp Prime Gary on his martial arts. Curse of Man's doing his video thing about pets, which I put together. And I see my dogs are down here, and my cat is down here, and my wife's coming down. So, now, on to another point. Loki Goblin, 90s, not worth nothing, saw in your video some guy. I can understand where the guy's coming from. Back in the 1980s, comic books ran about 250,000 issues for Canada and United States distribution. By the time they broke Batman's back in probably the early 90s, by mid-90s, you had over 1 million copies easily of almost every issue. Look at the Batman breaking Batman's back. How many printings had they did? How many printings had they did with Superman dead? I can see where the guy's coming from. Especially just look at that issue of the Flash I just got. You know, sold out, but then I got it in for $1 out of a wholesale lot from a retailer. You know. And another thing, the TV episodes not lasting past 10, that's our fault, because we go and we buy DVDs, and you're right. You look at the Justice League cartoons, you know, Justice League Unlimited. Yeah, 20-some episodes made, you know, 50. The Thundercats, you're right. 10 episodes and it's done. 52 weeks in a year. A season should actually be 26 episodes. You should be able to watch 26 episodes a year. That's them cutting corners and wanting to come out on DVD to sell. That's what it is. The almighty buck. Movies and DVDs. Okay, I decided to put that on because on one of the videos somebody was talking about how film. When you go, it's not really, they shouldn't even be called film anymore because it's not put on celluloid anymore. What they do, I'm actually going to, you guys want, get in touch with me, I'll give you a link. My friend who took film class with me in college. Used to be where Hollywood would make film. You get a 35mm film, and you'd see your eye, you know, processes stilled image faster. Anymore, when you go, it's a digital image put up on the screen. It would cost the movie theaters $1,500 to make a roll of film, and then to distribute it out to the movie theaters. And now it's a hard drive they plug in that costs them $100 to make. So they actually lowered their cost by over 90%. And they're still charging you more money because of the extreme prices of $7, like, you know, Tom Cruise, who I think's a butthole, about how much they charge you for your ticket. You guys want that link? I will supply it to you. It's a really good article my friend sent me about how Hollywood and how a lot of directors don't want that to die, because anybody who took film classes or know anything about film, every time they make a copy on 35mm, the film is different. There's different pops, cracks, lighting, because of just the way of the process of developing it. So every time you see a movie, you get a little bit of a different experience. Now, I don't go to the movies that much. I just went this past weekend to the drive-in, me and my wife and my daughter, and we saw Brave and The Avengers. Both of them were good movies. I was very happy with The Avengers, even though I was upset they killed Coulson. I can't see, paying $14, to go to see a movie in 3D. I paid $7 for myself, $7. I think my daughter was 5. I think it was, I paid like not even $20 for us to go to the movie theaters. Now, if I went to a theater and saw it on 3D, it would have cost me, for my whole family, $50 almost, because I think it's like $14 a ticket. And then after you buy popcorn and stuff, it's like, that was just another point I wanted to touch on that I saw. Now, all you guys know that I've been doing, I put my inventory, I did my inventory. I got over 18,000 comic books. I've been doing my toy inventory, and I still have to do my baseball cards, my non-sports cards. I have posters. You guys saw I actually going to show you at the end of this video. I'm going to slap a minute and a half video of what's left in my garage. I even still have stuff at my dad's house yet that I have to bring down. Magazines, Playboys. There's still some like loose toys up in the attic. Newspapers, because I actually have some newspapers from the First Man Who Walks on the Moon. God bless Neil Armstrong. God bless Michael Clark Duncan. I do want to open up a museum. After Loki Goblin 13 told me there's one out in Indiana, I would like to go see it. But since I live in Northeast PA, which is actually about 2.5 hour drive from New York, 5 hours from Boston, I would actually wonder how many people would actually come if I opened up a museum. Because, in 3 years, if next year, once I get this basement remodeled and my attic done, and I can put my comic books up and get all my garage done and my comic books and all stuff squared away, I'm actually thinking about placing an ad in the Scranton Wilkes-Barre newspapers, the Williamsport paper, and my local paper here, buying comics, cards, toys, collectibles, and becoming a dealer like that, then putting stuff, because over the years, I did sell some stuff, and my friend called me up this week because they had put that the collector's intervention on Sci-Fi, and my friend Anthony, who's Optimus Tron, and my buddy Al called me up and said, I should put you on. I'm like, ain't gonna happen. They had that guy on there who had the 30,000 comic books, and I actually felt pain watching him. He sold 2,000 of his books, gave them to a dealer, and he got Hulk 181 for 2,000 books. I would have never done that trade in a million years, because 2,000 books, you figure they were probably worth anywhere, I'll say, even if they're $1, that's $2,000. And they were worth more than $1. Just on the bags and boards alone, that's 15 cents to a quarter a book. You do that 2,000 times, I'll just go 20 cents. You have $400. Is that right? No. Yeah, $400 just on supplies. Not to mention the boxes. He sold those books. Guy gave him $1 an issue. Just on the supplies that took care of it, that was $400. Yeah, he got Hulk 181. I can pick up Hulk 1. Okay, I think it was autographed, but still, it wasn't worth what the guy traded. I would have never done that. Now, the other guy who had the toys, the Transformers, he was a dealer. He went to a show. He could cherry pick and buy and sell and keep what he wanted. This poor guy had no room. If you ever saw his house, it was worse than my house. I would have never done that trade. I would have never parted with full runs. Not for what that poor guy wanted. I would have got rid of 1,000 books for the Hulk 181. Because that's like $200 in supplies. Because that dealer is going to make his money back in the next 3 years, no problem. And I don't see Hulk 181, going, first off, it was ungraded. So, there'll be people out there who will disagree with me, but that's your thing. I figure I'll probably pick up that book in the next 3 years for less than $500. And usually I'm right when it comes to buying my stuff. My Showcase 22, I only paid $125 for it. My Green Lantern #1, I only paid $125 for it. My Iron Man 1 through 5, I only paid $50 for. My Silver Surfer 1 and 2, I only paid $75 for them. And I got these, all of them, off of dealers. My Hulk 180, I got off of a friend of a friend. I ended up selling my comic book collection, and the guys ended up ripping me off and stealing all my X-Men Wolverines, and they just robbed the hell out of me. And for $435, they ended up getting like over 3,000 of my comic books, and which was a regrettable thing. I didn't need the money. I just listened to my friends about blowing it. That's why I'm never going to do that again. And then I ended up turning around and buying my friend Dimmer, this kid he knew Beans. I ended up buying his X-Men's and Wolverines off of him, and then I got the whole 180 out of that deal. I ended up giving him $400 for all those books. So basically, I ended up losing over 2,000 books for $35 when it was all said and done. Idiot. Now back on Mongo Stomp Time, he made comments about politics. And so did Loki Goblin. Well, you know what? Nobody who's in office is ever going to give a shit about any of us. The only way it's going to ever happen is if there's laws in place that people can't own stock in companies that are in politics. If they have to have like a mutual fund or retirement plan, like growth and income account, where like a T. Rowe and Price or Merrill Lynch, where they diversify, and they don't really let they tell the people, well, these stocks are diversified within 100 companies, 25 companies. It's when these people have stocks like in oil companies. We went to war in Iraq over oil. We could have had electric cars back in the 70s, but big oil squashed that. Eminent domain, poor guy in Rhode Island lost his house, and it actually got held to the Supreme Court. You want to watch a good movie, watch Food Incorporated, about the Modesto soybeans, about how farmers are losing their thing. You can't stop act of gods. There's some things, but because Clarence Thomas and some of the guys in the Supreme Court were actually affiliated with Modesto, farmers got screwed. And it's happening now. I believe Obama wanted to do a lot of good, but you really can't do a lot of good when your president's Democrat and Congress is Republicans. Yeah, they both got to be on the same page in order to get anything done. Worst thing that ever happened politic-wise was NAFTA. Since 1990, I had actually 3 companies I worked for close up and move out of the country. I worked for Train Air Conditioning. They closed their plant in Dunmore back in 1991 or 92. Moved half their plant to Macon, Georgia, and in Waco, Texas. I worked for 3.5 years as a shipping supervisor for WIA Manufacturing. When I first started there, it was called Specialty Records. Then Time Warner bought the controlling interest off the Marquardt family, and then it became WIA Manufacturing. Then once AOL bought them out, it went downhill fast. I left in 2000. The place just closed this past year. It was bought out. It was called Sinram. Well, now all the stuff is shipped to China, and it's made in China. So when you, like Time Warner, it was called WIA, which is Warner Brothers Electro Atlantic Records, all that stuff's made in China now. The quality control sucks. I also left there to go to a place called Corning, which is, it's affiliated with Corning Glass. They make fiber optic, stuff for communications. They opened a plant north of Scranton. I went there. I was in the first 50 people hired. A year and a month later, they closed the plant. All that stuff's made in China now. My plant that I worked at was closed, and the jobs went to China. We have to get somebody in office that's going to rescind NAFTA, that's going to put America first. But see, our government wants all of us divided. Why do you think they split us language-wise? Why do you think they decide, we can have Spanish? Our country, I made a comment on my Facebook page a year ago, and nobody really responds. I have 300 friends on my Facebook. I said, I wish I could find a lawyer and let me sue the government for cultural abandonment. My great-grandparents came on the boat from Italy, and my mom's relatives are Russian. I could have been trilingual if they let me, that they came to this country, because back then they were supposed to speak English. We get so many people come to this country, especially now with all the Spanish. I'm not racist whatsoever, but it does bother me that I lost my cultural heritage because of the point. There's nothing united about our states. Every state's got different laws set up for different. There's no set for, punishment of a crime, capital crime, whatever. Every state's different. Like, Gary, your girlfriend, I feel for you because I went through the same thing. I had a DUI back in 1999. And let me tell you something. Laws have changed since then. They're a lot worse. And you're right, everybody takes a piece. I mean, I ended up paying a fine. Towing. The only thing that was good about it, the guy who I hit, who ended up being related to the cop, he never sued me because the cop who charged me never showed up on the accident report. My insurance adjuster who I called, I went from one bar to another bar. I just started drinking. And right before I left the bar, I had 2 shots of Jack Daniels. And I'm coming down a straight road, and a guy pulls out in front of me. I slam on my brakes. I hit him. He don't want to call the cops. He's stoned out of his mind. You're me. Yo, dude, man, let's just swap insurance. I'm like, no, dude, your front wheel's bent in. I'm calling the cops. I'm going to get an accident report. Well, the cop who showed up, his name is Springer. Were you drinking? Yes. I just left the bar. Right before I left the bar, I had 2 shots of Jack Daniels. One bar to the other bar. Not even 5 minutes to get there from one bar. I could get to the bar and I know I would not be impaired with how much I weighed at the time. They waited an hour. They took me to the drunk tank. I ended up popping .14 at the time. If you were over .1, you were over the limit. I was. By the time I went to the drunk tank, I knew I was over the limit because you know when it hits you. Unless you're a total alcoholic, then you never. But I ended up going to ARD classes. They said I was an alcoholic. And all my friends, because I answered, I don't drink as much as my friends. I really don't drink as much as my friends. I had a case of beer that my mom bought me before she passed away, right? That case of beer, my mom died in 2006. That case of beer just got used up last year. 4 years to drink a case of beer. Now, since then, I bought another case since last year, but I have my friends that since I bought the house, there's places to stay. I have a kitchen table to eat at. Before, we used to eat in the living room on TV trays in my old trailer. We had no room. I actually have a kitchen table in my basement, this will be the game table. I'll have a light hanging. All my video games, my television's going to go over there. But Gary, I understand how you feel because the political system is not fair. People get away with a lot of stuff. Some even people go to. I just watched. I think it was 2020 or Dateline. Back in the 90s, a lady who drove school bus served 15 years in jail for supposedly sex offending with the kids on the bus, and she was innocent. One mother started a whole campaign. It was on the news. Just crazy stuff. But I look at our heroes, our comic book stuff, and I think they changed a lot of stuff over the years to sell, sex sells. There's no, comic books should be for kids. And I don't care if I piss off a ton of older people. You can get your point across. Batman don't have to sleep with Catwoman. Shazam, Captain Marvel, the 7 Deadly Sins. Well, you know what? Look at all the comic books. I wish DC and Marvel would actually sit back and think, you know what? Why are we doing this? 20 years from now, like I said in the one video, are kids going to be alienated? I really think so. Yeah, I see something, but you know what? I don't see people. I see people doing it as fads. A lot of kids, like right in college, you go to the comic book store, you drink coffee and tea, and you have your good old comic, you read it. But then you grow out of it. I've seen a lot of that over my 20-some years of collecting. You don't want to know how many times I had women. My wife, she says it's childish to do it. But she lets me do it. She yells at me. We fight over stuff. But you know what? This is my hobby. I don't go to a strip club because I have this saying, why go to a buffet when you can't eat? I'd rather stick my money in a comic book than in a stripper's G-string. These are some food for thoughts. I hope you guys, I'm very appreciative with the feedback I get. Any comments, concerns, let me know, man. Drop me a line on Skype, JPC615, Yahoo, JPC61570. You email me at Yahoo. I enjoy talking, my little comments back and forth with Loki, Goblin, Mongol stuff. I'm a little, my trade videos, Gary, I was hoping that, me and you can trade, because I know you sent me, so you don't, trust me, I collect them. If it's a comic book I don't have, I'll take it. Because if I'm going to open up a museum, I'm going to need all the books. I'm going to need I'm going to need 10 times the amount of books I have right now. Same thing with toys. Loki Goblin, I hope you do get your store. I like to see people have their dreams fulfilled. Because that's one of the things this country was made of, was to follow your dreams. And it's sad that most people's dreams gets crushed and trampled. That's why I say, with the Green Lantern rings, hope. Hope's dead. Basically, hope is dead in America. When you said you don't vote, that's right there, because the point is there's nothing going forward. The margin from poor and rich is farther than it's ever been in this country, and that's wrong. Another thing I want to leave you guys for thought before this episode ends on the political side. When I went to college, the rich, they only pay up to $800,000 in taxes. So I don't even make 20 grand a year. I'm on disability. I bring home $12,000 a year. My wife basically is the primary breadwinner of the house. Now, I pay full taxes on my money. Most of you guys out there pay full taxes on your money. The rich only pay up to $800,000, and then anything after that, they don't pay taxes on. They pay up to $800,000. Now, if you tax Gates, Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, all these multimillionaires on their full income, there's your education. You won't have to cut spending on your schools. We have an art program. We have a music program. Right? There's your extra sports activities for your kids. Welfare. I was on welfare for a while. Rick, I've never been homeless. Thank God for that. When you said that, I was shocked. I've been on welfare, and let me tell you something. The lady on welfare made me feel like a piece of shit. She told me that if I had to take a job for minimum wage, I said, listen, I have a family. There's no way. I said, would you take that job? And she goes, no. I said, then you should be able to, if you want to take a job, you should not tell somebody else they have to take a job. So she didn't like me too much. I don't really want to go off, the topic. We're talking politics. They only pay full money on the Medicare. The government should tax, Pesala says, no matter what you make. Because that's why I think everybody wants to move to this country. Why do you think all these people, these rock stars from London and Europe and all, want to come and live in America? Because the taxes over there are 3 times what there are here for them. They save millions. I believe if you're not an American citizen, you work in the United States, you should be in a higher tax bracket. You should actually pay more in taxes for what you make in the United States. They're just some of my political opinions, because let me tell you something, that money, if you do that, there'd be billions of dollars. We'd have good roads in this country. We'd have a good education system. Homeless would be taken care of. The poor would be taken care of. There'd be subsidies for working moms. Probably, you can do public daycare. They're just some thoughts, and as always, guys, I love to hear your feedback. Please comment. Please subscribe. I want to thank Louisiana Kid for being my new subscriber. He's got a nice toy collection. I love to see a lot of some of the other guys, you know. Cursive Man, I was very jealous of your Vampirosa. I know none of the Harris comics from back in the days. I'm actually going to start buying them. Just don't know when. It's like, me funds are low. Never stops me any other time though. But I appreciate everything, and I hope you guys like, you know, my videos, and keep viewing, keep subscribing, keep commenting. Thank yous.